Yeah.
The other movie is a movie that I know both you and I really enjoyed, Major League 2.
Oh, yeah. That one's...
I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever. They brought back almost everybody except Wesley Snipes didn't come back to do it.
Right. They brought in Omar Epps.
Omar Epps, who now you can see on House, actually,
Yes.
actually working a whole lot more than Wesley Snipes and doing a better job
Go
staying out
figure.
of jail, from what I understand. It was great. Everybody was funny. And again, it's one of those movies where the first one was rated R, this one was PG-13, and I think it actually helps the movie a little bit because they can't curse to be clever, they just have to be clever.
Right.
And Bob Uecker is worth the price of renting the movie alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny because it furthers the story too, which is something that's nice. It's Major League 2 was just as much, every bit as fun as the first one, you know. And I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was great, you know. Films like that are a pleasure to watch.
They are.
Not like, you know, Slumber Party or any of those other ones.
Or any of the ones you mentioned. Okay, what is your all-time best sequel?
Best sequel of all time?
Yep.
Okay, folks, you ready for this? I'm sure everybody has seen this before. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is without a doubt the most fun, just a blast to watch. And it's also one of the most addictive movies, too. When you're channel surfing and you stop and you see it, you stop and watch it.
You're done.
It's a
You're
blast.
watching the movie.
The Star Trek franchise has had 9, almost 10 films now, and we all know the story about the even ones being the good ones and the odd ones not being so good. Star Trek II had everything. You had great action. You had great acting. Ricardo Montalban as Khan,
Was
reprising
fantastic.
his role from the original series episodes of Space Seed, was fabulous. He was a villain you almost really hated.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, what he was trying to do was...
Right, exactly. He wasn't what you would call the kind of villain that you could sympathize with or anything like that. He was just mean and nasty.
Right.
The thing about Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan for me was I absolutely hated the very first one. I thought it was dull. I thought it was boring. I thought it was way too long. And, of course, seeing it as a kid especially, I didn't want to see the second one.
Right.
My parents literally had to drag me to the theater to see it.
go see it,
And I
yeah.
agree with you. If you didn't have it on your list, I would have had it on mine as one of the best.
Like I said,
sequels of all
it
time.
was just a lot of fun, and I think it pretty much saved that whole franchise. 'Cause I was the same way. I saw the first one, it's like this.
It's terrible.
This is
Yeah.
terrible. And then the second one, like I said, it had the right amount of action, it had the right amount of suspense and drama, and oh my God,
And it
is
was
gonna-
scary at times,
It was
too.
scary, a little gross in the ear slug department, but
But even that you could live with
right. I mean,
because
but
it
you
wasn't
had-
over the top.
exactly. So what's yours? What's the best sequel you've ever seen ever?
Well, the thing is, when myself and Chris were coming up with this list, we decided that what we were going to do is we weren't going to try to do best movies, because the truth is a lot of these necessarily aren't, you know, they're not Gone with the Wind, but they're just movies we really enjoyed. It just so happens that, in my personal opinion, one of the best movies I've ever seen also happens to be a sequel, and that is The Godfather Part 2. I mean, you have almost everybody back from the original who didn't die.
Who didn't die, yeah.
You've got Talia Shire, Robert Duvall, Al Pacino, and of course you got a couple of new characters, basically with Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about The Godfather Part 2 is it's done in two sections. You have the continuation of the first
film.
Godfather after Michael Corleone had taken out all his enemies and was now moving to Las Vegas. And then you had the growing up of Vito Corleone, which of course was in the original movie was played by Marlon Brando. In the second one was played by Robert De Niro, who went on to win an Academy Award for the role. He's actually won for both supporting and Best Actor, of course, that being Raging Bull. The thing about The Godfather Part 2 is the only part they really had to write anew was the continuation of the first one, because, as you know, in the original book, they went into all the stuff with Vito Corleone. This is a brilliant movie. Everybody in it is good. It was the AFI's top 100 films. Okay, I mean, The Godfather was obviously in the top 10. This one was in the top 20.
Yes.
It is a brilliant movie. It is not only one of the best. It is not only the best sequel I've ever seen. It just is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
I couldn't agree more. This is top to bottom one of the best, if not the. This is a great standalone film. Period. I mean, but again, from top to bottom, acting, directing, script, you name it. You've got top-notch, heavyweight actors and actresses. Just great. I mean, I can't say too much more. Really.
It's also the only movie where the first one and its sequel both won the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yes.
Because as we know,
That's correct.
when we were trying to pick out our best sequels,
Mm-hmm.
we really, like you, I remember you coming to me saying, look, we can't necessarily try to pick the best movies.
Right.
Because like you said, anything with a Roman numeral next to it has tendency to be a big disappointment. So
Yes.
we had to kind of say, okay, let's just do the movies we thought good and we enjoyed.
Right, right. And that's what we did. And hopefully, again, you folks agree, you disagree, don't hesitate to drop us a line at drive-in-theater, the number 1, at hotmail.com. And if you agree with us, disagree with us, let us know. And we'll read your responses right here on the air.
And, you know, we do these lists an awful lot. I mean, we've done them for the last few shows. So if there's something that you would like us to do a list on, or say, hey, you know, we'd like you to do the list of the best actors, but whatever,
Right.
feel free to drop us a line at driveintheater1 at hotmail.com.
Absolutely.
Feel free, because, you know, we're open to any suggestions because we're not geniuses.
No, and eventually we're going to run out of ideas, too.
Yeah, pretty much. So help. You
Yeah,
know.
and again, like I said,
And we don't
just
want Mr. Projectionist giving us any ideas. God only knows
Oh.
what he'll come up with.
look what he came up with. This
See?
one, see?
So
We tried to do suddenly, and then he gives us this. So, yeah, I mean, feel free to email us your suggestions, your ideas. You dislike us, you like us, let us know. Drop us a line at drive-in-theater number 1 at hotmail.com. And is that it?
pretty much,
Yes,
yeah. Like
okay.
I said before, we really appreciate all the support we've gotten for Drive-In Theater. We enjoy doing the show. We're on in another town, as a matter of fact, and hopefully we'll be on in
Yeah,
many,
hopefully
many
we'll be
more.
expanding after that, too.
Yeah. So for all you people who've been with us from the first, thank you, and for everybody who's kind of just found us, we hope you watch more of them. Basically, that's about it. We thank you for joining us for this edition of Drive-In Theater. We know you probably had much more fun than we did.
Yeah.
So
You
thank
could at least walk away.
Exactly.
We were
you
stuck
can go,
here.
You can go get a Coke. We couldn't.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it, and take us home.
Absolutely. On behalf of Scott, Mr. Projectionist, I'm Chris. And as we said, thanks again. Remember, no talking during the movie.
Because that's our job.